today's explainer, we are diving straight into a concept that is honestly a total game changer for how we think about our workplaces. We're unpacking some fascinating insights on neurodiversity at work and what it really takes to build an environment where every single mind can thrive. Let's kick things off with a number that totally blew my mind: 15 to 20%. That is the estimated percentage of the workforce that is neurodivergent. Just think about that for a second. Whether it's officially disclosed or not, this talent is already sitting right there on your team. We aren't talking about some tiny niche demographic. We are talking about a massive, vital portion of your colleagues and leaders.
To really wrap our heads around this, we're going to hit 5 key areas today: the basics, the talent advantage, hidden barriers, inclusion strategies, and we'll wrap up with 5 quick wins.
All right, section 1, the basics. Let's make sure we're all speaking the exact same language here. So, neurodiversity. It's really just the natural variation in how human brains think, learn, focus, and, well, process the whole world around us. The core idea is that there is absolutely no single right kind of mind out there. Now, most folks fall under the neurotypical umbrella. All that means is their processing styles match up neatly with society's everyday expectations. Basically, the traditional corporate world was built by and for this specific style. Then we have neurodivergent. These are brains that just work a bit differently from that expected norm. And this is where things get really fascinating, because these differences bring some incredibly distinct strengths to the table. It's a pretty wide spectrum, too, covering things you've definitely heard of, like ADHD, autism, dyslexia, and dyspraxia. It also includes Tourette's and OCD. And here's the kicker: it's actually super common for people to experience more than one of these natural variations at the exact same time. Moving right along to section 2, the talent advantage. It's time to completely reframe how we look at this at work. Because embracing these different minds, it's not some HR checkbox. It's a massive, undeniable talent advantage. When we actually build supportive environments, we supercharge engagement, retention, and overall team effectiveness. The source data from Gallup hits the nail right on the head here. Inclusive teams just plain outperform homogeneous ones. Engagement skyrockets because people have the energy to bring that discretionary effort. You keep your best people, which slashes turnover costs. And innovation completely thrives because you're catching brilliant ideas that a room full of identical thinkers would totally miss. And just look at the profound strengths neurodivergent individuals bring. We're talking intense, laser-like deep focus, incredible pattern spotting, literally seeing anomalies everyone else walks right past, out-of-the-box creative thinking, rock-solid integrity, brilliant systemizing of complex logic, and a whole lot of resilience. But wait, if these minds are so powerful, why the struggle? That brings us to section 3, hidden barriers. So many of these obstacles are completely accidental. Take recruitment, for instance. We put out these vague job postings, run rapid-fire, high-stress interviews, and screen heavily for culture fit. But all we're really doing is creating an unintended barrier that screens out phenomenal applicants who just happen to process stress differently. And it totally carries over into the work environment. Think about the classic open plan office. Constant noise, glaring bright lights. For a lot of people, that setup is a one-way ticket to sensory overload. It makes deep focus completely exhausting and leaves absolutely no room to recharge during the day. Then there's communication. Relying solely on fast-paced verbal instructions and unwritten hints, that's assuming everyone's brain works exactly like yours. The reality is, it just creates massive ambiguity, lost details, and a ton of unnecessary anxiety. And finally, how we track performance. If you're grading people on presentation polish or just sitting at a desk for rigid hours, you are severely undervaluing actual results. You end up missing out entirely on when and how your people are actually doing their absolute best work. Okay, so how do we actually fix this? Section 4, strategies for inclusion using universal design. By putting these 4 steps into play, we create a universal design that helps literally everyone. 1, open the door wider. Assess the actual job skills, not just the interview performance. 2, design flexible environments. Give folks control over how and where they work. 3, communicate with crystal clarity to cut down on ambiguity. And 4, lead with safety. Ask your team what they need, don't just assume. This quote from our source material really captures the magic here. Universal design. When people feel safe, they self-advocate, and teams adapt without being asked.
When you build that psychological safety, the friction just disappears, and your team naturally adapts to support each other.
Let's bring it all home. Section 5. 5 quick wins. And the best part? Zero budget required.
I love these because you can start them literally today. 1. Send out agendas before every meeting. 2. Follow up verbal requests with a quick written recap. 3. Normalize offering quiet spaces or headphone options. 4. Just ask your team members how they work best. And 5. Share interview questions in advance. Real inclusion starts with these small, daily practices, not some massive corporate policy. The big takeaway from this explainer is that small, flexible changes genuinely change everything. That 15 to 20% of your workforce, their neurodiversity is a massive asset. By adding clarity, choice, and trust, work doesn't just get better for them, it gets vastly better for every single person on your team.
So I'm going to leave you with this. What is one single action you will take this week to remove an invisible barrier for your team? Remember, better design for different minds means better work for absolutely everyone. Thanks for tuning into this explainer, and I will see you next time.